Hello, everybody. Welcome back. All right, today I am going to make a dessert. So I've been invited to dinner tomorrow and was told that I could bring a dessert. Um, so I kind of was, I didn't really know I was going to make a blueberry buckle. I did that last week. I have some milk that I want to use up, and I've been debating what I can do with the milk. So I decided to make some peanut butter candy cakes. If you're from the Philadelphia and I think South Jersey area, I don't know if Tastykakes actually went further up into northern Jersey, but Philly, South Jersey area, we grew up with something called Tastykakes. They're little lunch cakes, variety of different cakes, cupcakes, pies, and one of my favorites is something that they called peanut butter candy cakes. So a while ago, I don't know where my mom got this recipe, but my mom got a hold of a recipe which is exactly a peanut butter candy cake. The only thing that's different, peanut butter candy cakes are little round cakes and they're enrobed in chocolate. These are just square pieces of sponge cake with a layer of peanut butter and a layer of chocolate on top. But they taste exactly the same. In fact, they might even taste better. I don't know. Really easy to make, and they're a hit. So when I made them first time for Amy, she was little. She was maybe 4 or 5. She said, "These taste like rainbows and unicorns." Um, so making them today, it's Friday. I'm going to see Amy tomorrow. She'll get a couple of them before I take them to the dinner. I might get yeah, they're good, because she's in those tween years. So I miss when she was little and everything was just so amazing. Rainbows and unicorns. They are really good. They really do taste like rainbows and unicorns. All right, so I'm going to take you to the counter. I'll show you the ingredients and then we'll put it all together. All right, ingredients. So we have 4 eggs. I'm going to add 2 cups of sugar, a cup of milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Those are my wet ingredients. Dry ingredients, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and a pinch of salt. All right, going to mix that all together. That's a sponge cake. It goes in a jelly roll pan. And then on the top, we add a layer of peanut butter. I hope this works. I didn't have any peanut butter. I got this at Trader Joe's. And then once the whole thing cools, we'll melt some chocolate and put a layer of chocolate on top. Let's get started. Okay, so I have everything set up here. I already beat the eggs. So again, we have 4 eggs. I beat them for about 5 minutes. The recipe says beat them until they're thick and lemon colored. Well, I don't know what lemon colored means because all egg yolks are different. If you're using, um, organic free range eggs, your yolks are going to be a little bit more orange. So I don't know what that means. So about 5 minutes to beat the eggs until they're nice and thick. I mixed together my flour, baking soda, and salt. And then I have my sugar and my milk with the vanilla already measured out. So next we're going to add the sugar and keep beating and then add the milk. And finally, the dry ingredients. All right, looks good. So next I'm going to get my baking sheet and pop this into the oven. Okay, so I have a greased and floured cookie sheet. The recipe says 13 by 15 by 1 inch. I have no idea how big this is, but this has worked for me in the past. So I know it's going to work again today. So I greased and floured the cookie sheet. You just pour it in. It's a nice loose batter, so it's really easy to work with. It just kind of fills the pan. You don't have to really do a whole lot in terms of spreading it out or anything like that. Okay, there we go. So it's going to go in the oven at 350. For 15 to 20 minutes until done. Okay, our cake is done. 15 minutes. Looks beautiful. You just want to make sure your toothpick comes out clean. It's perfect. You don't want it to be too brown. Beautiful. Okay, so the next part is a little bit tricky. I know my mom and all the ladies who made this used regular old Skippy or Jif, those, I don't know how to describe those, peanut butters that are, where the oil is not separated. So this one, the oil was separated because we have this brown layer on top. It's going to be a little bit tricky to spread it. So I'm going to try. And by the way, this is still hot. So the cake is hot. You want to do this while it's hot. So I'm just going to try to get it as spread out as I can so that I don't have to work with this too much. So we're going to put a layer of chocolate over this. So this doesn't have to be too beautiful, but I do want to try to smooth it out a little bit so we don't have big lumps of peanut butter under the chocolate. Okay, so it's supposed to be a cup of peanut butter. Now let me see what happens. Pretty good. Beautiful. So, oh, look at that, how nice this is smoothing out. I gotta tell you guys, the last time I made this, it was not as smooth. I had pieces of cake coming off, and it was just a big old mess when I tried to smooth this out. So I'm really happy with the way this is coming out right now. So I'm able to go all the way to the end. By the way, this is unsweetened peanut butter because the cake is already very sweet, and then the chocolate is also sweet. I'm using milk chocolate on the top. You could use dark chocolate if you want. If I'm going to have dessert, I kind of like to have milk chocolate. All right, there we go. So because the cake is still warm, I mean, it really is just fresh out of the oven. And because of the type of peanut butter this is, I think it's really easy to work with. So I'm just trying to make it as even as possible, making sure that all the edges have peanut butter. Okay, that's it. So next we want to let this cool. Uh-oh, I can't talk. I just licked the knife. So we're gonna let this cool, and then I'll melt my chocolate and finish it up. First it was just chilling on the counter to kind of come down to room temperature. I popped it in the refrigerator because I want my peanut butter to be nice and hard before I put the chocolate. So I chopped up my chocolate. I have a measuring cup here. I'm going to make a double boiler, melt the chocolate, and then just pour it on top. I'm not going to film me melting the chocolate just in case it doesn't work. And also I'm just feeling kind of lazy. So I'll be back with the cake and the melted chocolate. All right, so my chocolate is melted. It went perfectly smoothly. So I just did a double boiler, a small pot of water. All right, now what I want to try to do here is pretty much the same thing that I did with the peanut butter, since that worked out so well. And I have more chocolate if this turns out not to be enough. Let me see here. I can feel that the peanut butter has hardened up, so that's great. So I don't have to worry about messing that layer up. And I think I might have to melt a little more chocolate here. Let me see if I can make this work. No, I think we're good. Just going to stretch it out. Made a little mess there. All right. There it is. Voila. So I'm going to pop this back in the refrigerator, let it cool, and then we'll just cut it into squares. When you take it out of the refrigerator and it's cold, then the chocolate will crack when you cut it. So, I'm going to try to just take it out, bring it back down to room temperature before I cut into it. And I'll have to show you tomorrow the final result. We'll see if we can get Amy to do a reaction video. She probably won't want to, but she hasn't been rating my food very highly, so I don't know that we're going to get unicorns and rainbows tomorrow, but she might actually admit that she likes it. Hopefully, we'll see. All right, there has been a slight change of plans. Amy's not coming here today, so we're not going to get Amy's reaction to these delicious peanut butter candy cakes. So I put it in the refrigerator for a few hours and then took it out before I went to bed. So they've been sitting out on the counter overnight. Because I don't want the chocolate to be too hard when I cut it. And let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how many slices we're going to make here. So let's go about here. It's cutting nicely. I'm not getting any cracking on the chocolate. You can make them any size you want. I don't like to make them too big. So the recipe says it makes 25. I don't know how you get 25. But I have to do it this way. This last end piece, these are going to be for me. All right, so and then this way we can go 1, 2, let me see, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 4. That's a little bit more than 25. So it makes a good amount. Great for barbecue, a potluck. Whoops, this end piece is bigger than the rest. Well, they're all kind of different sizes. That's okay, you know. Somebody wants a small piece, somebody wants a big piece. They can take what they want. So I'm going to pull out this corner. That's what it looks like. Nice sponge cake, a layer of peanut butter, and the chocolate on top. And it came out pretty cleanly. So what I'm going to do is pick out, you know, the ones that are not perfect. Take those to Amy. I'm going to meet her in San Francisco for breakfast. And then I'll bring the rest to my dinner tonight. Let's go to the table and see how this tastes. All right, so I have my coffee here. Trying to cut down on coffee, so during the week I have decaf. And on Saturday, today this is half calf. So it tastes so good. And I got my peanut butter candy cake. Just looks delicious. So good. The cake is so soft. And then peanut butter, chocolate. If you've never had a Tastykake, these are my favorite Tastykakes, the Kandykakes. So if you're able to get them, try them. But I actually think these are better. The Kandykakes are covered all around in chocolate. It's like a little round thing. But oh my God, these are so good. All right, so I know I said Amy was going to be here. Her dad was sick, so it kind of complicates things. So I'm just going to go to San Francisco and take her out for breakfast and bring her some of these. She called me last night. She wanted to make red velvet cupcakes because she knew we were going to make Jamaican food today. And she doesn't like Jamaican food, so she just had to complicate things. So I told her I had these. She didn't remember what they were, but she'll remember when she gets that. She's going to be requesting these again in the future. Mark my words. Well, that was really good. Great. This is my breakfast. All right, so try them. It's really easy to make. I'll put the recipe in the description. For this one, you do need a recipe. You know, baking is a little bit different from cooking. So I'll put the recipe below. If you want to substitute anything, you could use cashew butter, almond butter instead of peanut butter if you're worried about peanut allergies. You can use dark chocolate. What else? Yeah, whatever. Play with it. I wonder if it would be like peanut butter and jelly. I didn't really talk about how I melted the chocolate yesterday. So, you know, I chopped it up fine, put it in a large measuring cup over a pot of boiling water in a double boiler. You want to make sure you don't get any water, any moisture anywhere near the chocolate. So I used a brand new cutting board, not the cutting board that I normally use because I knew it was dry. It hadn't been used for a while. Made sure my knife, my spatula, everything was completely dry because apparently that will affect your chocolate when you melt it if there's any moisture in it. I melted first just half of my chocolate, got that nice and smooth, and then poured the rest in. I looked it up, I Googled it, how to melt chocolate. So those were the instructions that I got. So if you're not sure, make sure you Google how to melt chocolate. You want to get good quality chocolate. And yeah, the rest, it's pretty simple. Okay, so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you make them and what you think. They really are super delicious. They taste like unicorns and rainbows. Remember to subscribe if you haven't. It really will help my channel, help me to keep making these videos. I'm a long way from what I need in terms of subscriptions. So tell your friends, tell your relatives. Help me out here. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.